based on living in Florida my whole life, and you know, if it was the ocean, I'd say a shark, and since it's the river, it's, you know, it was probably, and since she hasn't been found, she's got to be lodged
But even with the...
You're saying she got to be lodged.
When you told us that you've been out here since when?
Saturday.
Since Saturday.
Yeah.
And when you were out here, there was a detective that was out here.
Yeah, he said he was the lead investigator for the family. He was, I forgot his name, but he was a Spanish gentleman. He was very nice, very thorough. He's very insistent that we take a flyer, even though my girlfriend's like, I don't want to carry any more stuff. She's like really, you know, hiker type. But anyway, yeah, he was very thorough. He talked to us at length about the situation.
Elaborate on that. What type of questions did he ask?
He asked if we had been here, you know, during that time, or if we knew anybody that had been here. I told him, like I told you guys, my dad lived further down up on the St. John's on a houseboat. He asked me if I could, you know, spread the word to him and maybe the houseboating community and see if, you know, anybody sees anything floating or whatever the case.
Did the detective say anything about any foul play? Like,
no.
Like suspects they're looking for?
He didn't mention anything like that.
Just asked you if you've seen anything?
Yeah, it was very, very casual, very,
Was he asking just you, or was he asking everyone that was here? Was there other people here?
Yeah, there was other people here. When we got here, he was talking, this whole parking lot was full. He was talking to some people over here. There was about 5 people at the table. I assume they were probably with him. And then we pulled up, and he pretty much, within 5 minutes, he came up and started talking to us.
Paola's vehicle was actually found here. It was right here. Yeah. She was seen swimming that day, December 18th. That's got to be
about
two miles away.
Thing. That really sounds, I mean, I like I said, I grew up on the rivers around here, and that sounds really like an alligator-related situation. And I mean, it's sad to say, but she could pop up anytime. You know what I mean? They will find her. They will find her.
Explain for the people that don't understand what alligators do. Since you've been around here, you've known alligators. Just explain what your understanding of an alligator attack is.
Well, typically what they like to do is the larger prey, like a dog or a person, they would drag down and drown them. And a lot of times, you know, there'll be trees as large as this pine right here underneath the water, obviously not intact, and a lot of times what they'll do is lodge stuff underneath there to save their energy. If they can get them under there and wedge them in something, and then they'll come back later, or if they have babies, the babies can feed on it then too.
So she's listed as 4'10", 145 pounds.
That wouldn't be a problem for any like even, I mean, and it's like there's a lot of mama gators in this like area over here. Like I guess the Otter Spring is what it's called. And they're just very aggressive, you know, and if you're swimming, especially if you're wading and you don't know where you're going, you know.
There's signs out there.
I've seen them at Kelly Park. I've seen them in Kelly Park. So they don't give,
So they got signs here that say do not feed or swim.
Oh yeah, yeah.
While you were out here, have you seen any alligators?
No, I haven't seen any, but I haven't been by the water much, honestly.
Let me ask you this. So, you've been out here since Saturday. Have you seen any questionable people? You know, somebody that gives you
homeless people, any type of people out here, like creepy people?
Pretty much everybody that came by, and like I said, I was kind of not feeling the best for 2 days, but everybody that came out, and like there was a couple people that kind of like, you know, if you're at a campsite, you're not really supposed to go up to other people's campsites, but I guess a lot of people don't know that. But other than that, you know what I mean? Like people stopped when they were hiking and sat on the bench at our campsite. No big deal. I'm not that kind of.
Where did you camp?
Big Buck. We're still up at Big Buck.
Yeah. Oh, is that your blue tent over there?
Yeah.
We were a little close to your tent. Just thought
that's okay.
We were there. We came from there. We came from Outer Campground, then went up to Big Buck, and then
that's where we've been at. And we seen I guess some guys are doing the Hurricane biking trail. It's like some 600-mile trail. We talked to them at length. They were from Alabama or something.
But the lead investigator, you didn't see him out on the trails?
Not since that day. He was sitting right there with a long-haired, pretty Spanish girl. Very nice, you know. They came and petted the dog just like you guys, and very nice, very thorough, you know. But they didn't mention anything about the mental thing or the foul play or anything like that. And you know,
not like they didn't say anything about a criminal investigation.
No, it seemed very, like I say, very casual. Like, just did you see anybody type of thing. And then my girlfriend actually came back at the end and asked him for a description of what she was wearing that day, and they said that independent camper footage showed that she was wearing, I think, a burgundy something or another,
like a burgundy sports top.
But you know, we kind of had to ask him that part. But other than that, they were pretty thorough. I mean, he was out here. I don't know what capacity of a detective he is or whatever. Obviously, I don't think he's a cop, but like not a cop, you know. But he was talking to everybody out here. So
Gotcha.
and there's a lot of people out here.
So you as a guy, have you camped out in different areas like this alone before?
I don't like camping by myself.
Why?
Because I mean, just anything could happen out here. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of snakes, to be honest with you. And if you get bitten by a snake, your ability to run is really, you got like 45 minutes.
Right, and you know, I always say whenever you're camping, especially in the wilderness, you want to be near your vehicles.
Yeah,
so if there is some
Yeah,
large
you can
prey, you have some protection. Here, you're walking almost 2 miles just to get to a campsite. So you're 2 miles away from any kind of real shelter
help or anything. Luckily, there is phone service out here. Which surprised the hell out of me.
Her phone was in her car.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. Her phone was found when they found her
car. And her car was heating. That's crazy.
With the keys. Now, the question is, did she go where she was seen, you know,
Swimming,
waiting?
yeah.
Did she have her phone and keys and come back here and something happened here, or she went somewhere else from here?
I had lived at Adams Ridge Road in Wekiva Springs for 8 years, and then I lived at Hunt Club right there on the golf course for another year or so. And in all that time, I've lived on the east side of Orange County. There's a huge homelessness problem in this area, huge drug addict problem in this area. This area Seminole County is very, 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 very vigilant about that. And these park guys are very good too.
Yeah, because you have to go through the front entrance.
I don't think anything like that. That's on the east side, sure.
Have you heard of any crimes done in here, this park?
No,
ever?
never.
Murder,
never,
rape,
nothing,
foul play?
nothing like that. Just kids getting drunk and doing stupid shit. That's the only. That's the only thing. And usually somebody gets hurt in the process, so it's not even, you know. It's just, if it was on the east side in one of the parks over there, I would say 100%.
What is the worst thing that you've heard happen in this area? Not necessarily in this park, but
I guess Kelly Park, a kid got eaten by a gator. Kelly Park, a guy got trapped in the cave.
How far is that from here?
Kelly Park, I think, as the crow flies, I think it's only like 2 miles, but to drive to it, it's like 30 minutes because you got to go all the way through Apopka and then
How
back
long
down.
ago was those incidents?
I mean, I've been going there since I was a kid, so it's just stuff you hear. One day, I think I was like, I remember because I was 9 years old, I jumped in, you know, where the starts with the tubes, and I jumped in and I hit right on one of those big rocks on my knee, and it was a terrible, terrible day, and that actually still hurts to this day. But the point of that is the guy got stuck in the cave that day, and that's like the worst thing I've really heard. And usually the stuff with the gators is further out on the St. John's, but I've seen them in Kelly Park. You know, I've seen them in Kelly Park, and that seems like the most. I mean, I'm not an ecological scientist or anything, but just based on living in Florida my whole life, and you know, if it was the ocean, I'd say a shark, and since it's the river, it's, you know, it was probably, and since she hasn't been found, she's got to be lodged
But
under.
even with the...
You're saying she got to be lodged under.
Do you know if there's caves on this river? Like, how does that work for people that don't know about the underwater caves?
Yeah, not in this particular area that I know of, but at Kelly Park, which really isn't that far. And, you know, this area has been inhabited for 7,000 years.
Yeah.
So,
But wouldn't, even with the gator attack, wouldn't there be like potential
something.
articles
You would
of
think,
clothing,
but you gotta
a
understand
shoe?
the amount of water coming out of these springs. It's millions of gallons per second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is pushing. So, and that's just one spring. You got Kelly, Wekiva, and they are all pushing. I mean, the craziest thing where my dad's at on Silver Glen, there's this island when you come in, because you go through a lake and then the spring pushes out. You kind of go in from the side of Lake George into Silver Glen, and it's pushing out so much water into the lake. And there's a little island right there. People actually get off their boats and shit on the island. Like, I don't understand why you would do that. It's disgusting. Like,
Right.
just go in the water where it's got to be sanitary. But anyway, it's just because the amount of water is so. I'm not a scientist. You could look it up. I'm sure it's in the millions of the gallons per, maybe not per second, but probably per hour or something along those lines.
Lots of water.
Lots of water.
Thank you for your insight.
Yeah.
And,
Thank you so
if
much.
it's here, contact police.